Welcome, beautiful friends, to the Way of Mastery. Tonight we are channeling lesson number 9. All events are neutral. Man, the world does not like all events are neutral. I've done a dialogue about this. It was the least watched dialogue of all my dialogues by far. This is the smallest crowd we've ever had for channeling, because this just takes the whole egoic thought system. And if you'll watch your consciousness, it's about placing value on everything. Does this benefit me? Does this not benefit me? Is this good? Is this bad? Am I supposed to? Am I not supposed to? All of that is built on the ego's thought system that things are all but neutral. So this is not a very popular one, but it is an incredibly important one on your spiritual path. And in this lesson, Jeshua is going to deliver the foundational practice that's going to be part of the entire rest of this pathway. He's given us some couple of little clues along the way, a couple of little practices in the earlier lessons, but he's going to drop the anchor tonight with what's the practice that you will begin and ultimately come to completely abide in. But who's been watching the weather? Well, it's kind of weathery here. Who's been watching the news this week? I don't watch the news very much. But I was guided to something. You know, you've heard me say before that Jeshua says, he's told me many times, you'll know the authentic teachers of the second coming by their humor. Bam! There's the Pope wearing his nose on November 10th, 2013. Wow, no, it's legit. I mean, he was doing some event and there was this couple getting married and they handed him a nose and he put it on. Do you see the resemblance? I mean, there's a whole lot of love going on with these noses. Isn't that cool? You know, I enjoy wearing this, and it was really by far one of the paradoxically most simple practices I ever did, but one of the very deepest, because it relates to all events are neutral when we take away all the seriousness of our ego about everything, and we kind of rest into the innocence and playful laughter that kind of is our divinity. But thank you to Pope Francis for clowning around. He's already being called the People's Pope. Isn't that cool? So it's happening everywhere. Everywhere. Okay, so here we go. Cindy, you ready with the axioms?
I am created as my Father created me to be. I am free, and nothing sources my experience but me in each moment. Nothing has an effect on me whatsoever, save that which I choose to allow to affect me. I need do nothing. I do not live any ordinary moments. With each breath, my experiences are the stepping stones laid before me of God to guide me home. Therefore, I will bring awareness to each moment and allow it to teach me how to forgive, how to embrace, how to love, and therefore, how to live fully. The only relationship which holds any value at all is your relationship with God, your creative source. And the keys to the kingdom: desire, intention, allowance, and surrender. And the definition of love: love allows all things, accepts all things, trusts all things, embraces all things, and is therefore transcendent of all things.
Thank you, Cindy. Number 1, I am created as my Father created me to be, and I am free. He's getting right there at the truth has been true all along, and it has never changed. We have never been separate from God. We have never not been what we were created to be, which is eternal, infinitely powerful creators. And that we remain free now. He's not saying, when I awaken, when I get home, when this and that happens. He's saying, I am free now. The ironic thing, the joke of the whole thing, is that we're using our eternal freedom to create the experience of our imprisonment. We use our infinite joy to create our suffering. We use our limitless freedom to create the perception that we're not free. We use our eternalness to create the experience of getting lost in time. We go from instant creators to creation that seems to be a process and take time. So when you start to look in your consciousness about everything where you say you're not free. I mean, if you just do that, he had me do it for a week one time. Everything that came up in my consciousness where I felt like there was some condition existing, I clearly wasn't believing I was free. I wasn't free to speak the words I wanted to speak. I wasn't free to do this. I wasn't free to do that. I wasn't free to I wasn't free to break in line, whatever it might be. But just look within your consciousness at how bound we are in the name of, morality or of getting along or whatever else. Just look at how limited we truly feel. Oftentimes this is not a place we want to go in our consciousness because it can be quite distressing. But when you really start to look at, I'm not living my life as though I was the offspring of God, and I'm certainly not living my life like I'm free. Number 2 tonight, I need do nothing. No, I'm going to pull no out of the... Did you know that no is the most used word in the human language? Yes. Yes. Thank you, Stephen. Paradoxically. Nice. Right on time. Regardless of the language, no is the starting point of ego. Because that's when we said no to God's will. We said no to we're created as our Father created us to be and we're free. We started with no. And if you look within your consciousness, we tend to default there. And we go, I want to know all the details. I want to know all the specifics. I want to know how it's going to affect me. I want to know what it's going to be like before I say yes. And Jeshua asked me, was I willing to trust Him and trust God enough to live in yes? We've done a beautiful movie called Yes Man for Waking Up to the Movies that's a beautiful symbol about saying yes and how this guy's life opened completely wide open. Now the thing about beginning with yes is yes leaves room for no. But if you begin with no, you really don't leave much room for yes. So it's a real different place. It's about going from being guarded and in defense to being open and invulnerable. So if you look at your consciousness about the energy around no and how prevalent it is within your consciousness and seemingly without, there are going to be some beautiful clues pointing in. Number 3, I'm going to pull out how to live fully. He said in the channeling 2 channelings ago that we have never lived. That's kind of sobering. What if we've never truly lived? I wonder what it's like and what he's pointing at with these 4 words, how to live fully. I wonder what the lived experience of that is right here, right now. Not after some mythical transition to heaven somewhere, seemingly somewhere else. But right here, right now. What if you drop that pebble in your pond with some regularity? I was talking to someone the other day and they said, it can't get any better than this. I'm like, wow, why would you toss that pebble in your pond? Oh my gosh, what if you tossed instead, this is fabulous and I wonder how much infinitely better it can get now. Not later, but now. So, oftentimes on our spiritual path, our ego is so frightened and we close down so much that we really don't open up to contemplations that are big and expansive. Well, there's one. What does he really mean by how to live fully? If I put that with I am free and how to live fully, wow. Let some of that energy begin to wash through your consciousness and just see what comes up. Number 4, we're going to talk about value tonight because that's what this channeling is about. In the Course in Miracles, in this pathway, and all his Christ pathways, he talks about having to remove the value that we have placed on the valueless. For instance, he says placing value on the body is putting value on the valuelessness. Now the body is the throne of the ego's separation. It says, this is what I am, and I'm autonomous in this way, and blah, 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 blah. But we really don't know that we have all along been valuing things that are absolutely valueless. his definition of valueless is pretty simple. If it has a beginning, it will have an end, it's of no value. If it has a beginning, it must have an end, and it is of no value. There's something, the only thing of infinite value that's eternal, that doesn't have a beginning and doesn't have an end and is present right here, right now. And that's kind of what we wake up to. But just look at all the things you value. He's going to mention it here. Look around your home. Is there something you can't live without? Someone you think you can't live without? I mean, recognize you've created this value around an object or a person, and you're just really daring creation to take it away and spoil your day. Why would you want to give any object or person, anything that's already transient, the power to take away your peace? So we're so busy trying to sort through the valueless and create the correct database of what's more important than this and what's more important than that. And if you watch your mind at how it prioritizes, and my mind used to play that 1 to 10 scale all the time, trying to rank things in some kind of order, all of that is playing with the valueless. And all of it is a distraction within your consciousness so that you won't open up truly and discover what Jeshua called the kingdom of heaven, what's been called many, many things, which is prevalent in your being right here, right now. And when you wake up to that eternalness, then you'll have peace. Because you'll know that's the only true truth, that's the only thing to truly value. He says in this pathway, God is love, only love is real. When you wake up to love, wow, you won't have anything to worry about. You'll let the things come and go in the world. You'll let the things pass away because you'll know to hold on to them is to create your own suffering. Keys to the kingdom, allowance. Allow. Allowance is forgiveness. Can I allow the things that are valueless to simply be what they are? Can I allow the things that begin in time to move naturally towards their not appearing in my life anymore in peace? It's one thing we're not good at in our egoic consciousness is letting go, is letting things come to an end. We like starts, those are kind of exciting, but then we usually aren't too good at letting things come to an end. Every day begins and goes to an end with no drama, but we hold a relationship that comes into our life in a whole different context. What if we allowed it all to be like the sun? It comes up in the morning, it goes down at night, no worry, the next one's going to come back. Whew. And then love is transcendent of all things. We're pointing to that. All the things that you can identify as a specific thing had a beginning and will have an end. But there's something very, very close, closer than your breath, that doesn't have a beginning and doesn't have an end and is actually what you are in truth. Find that, and you will have found the only jewel that has any value, because you will have found yourself. My beautiful friend Kristen is back tonight to do a meditation for us. She's been doing some really cool work through her hypnosis work about hypnosis for awakening, which is really cool. She's got a cool YouTube page. You could check it out. She puts that stuff up for free. So she's going to give us a little meditation to kind of get us in the space. I heard some of you talking before I came in that you listen to these channelings, but then you come here and something's different. Well, part of what's different is Kristen helps provide a doorway through which our consciousness can move safely into a place of openness that allows these things to drop in ever deeper. The deeper they drop in our being, the more is revealed. I heard someone saying earlier, Sue was talking about, it's like they put new chapters in. Well, I can assure you, all the holographic chapters are there. We just finally have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. So let Kristen do her thing. Just relax into it. When she finishes, I'm going to do the Lord's Prayer, which will play through twice. And then I'm going to do the channeling. The channeling will not end with the Lord's Prayer tonight, because on the audio tape, the question is missing, but we have the text of it. So Cindy's going to read the one question and answer that was part of the channeling. And then, of course, we'll answer any questions if anyone has it. Anyone? Okay, Kristen, tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready. All right. So I'm going to have everybody just uncross their arms and legs, get their bodies comfortable, and just follow along as I allow you to settle down into a place inside that's very private and quiet. So we're just going to begin right now, and I would like to start with our eyes open and just fixate on any spot you choose. It doesn't matter if it's near or far, wherever your eyes naturally and comfortably lay. And I want you to focus on that spot right now and concentrate on that spot. And focusing on that spot as if you're staring into space at that spot. And keep focusing on that spot right now. And as you focus on that spot, the next time you blink, just let your eyes close. Allowing yourself just to gently lean back and rest your eyes, your mind. As I guide you further down into hypnotic trance, all I'm going to do is some gentle mental exercises, and you can join in with me. Putting your attention down on your feet, imagining your feet softening and relaxing. Relax the muscles of your feet, calm and relaxed. Moving your attention up into your calves. Soften and relax the muscles of your calves, calm and relaxed. Guiding your gentle awareness up into your thighs, relaxing your thighs right now. Guiding your awareness up into your abdomen, softening and relaxing all tension in your abdomen, allowing your breath to unlock and travel all the way down into your abdomen. Releasing all expectation from your gut and just letting go. Being with your body right here as you move your awareness now up into your lungs, noticing your chest as it rises and falls. Allowing your out-breath to regulate your relaxation a little further. Allowing your out-breath to provide relaxation and comfort. Right now, just focusing on your out-breath, using your focus and attention, taking it off your thoughts and on to your chest as it rises and falls, letting your out-breath relax you further down. Now sending your awareness down your arms, all the way down to the tips of your fingers, allowing your arms to relax completely, allowing your muscles to go limp and slack, calm and relaxed. Good. Moving your awareness now just up your neck and into your jaw, softening your tongue, releasing all tension in your jaw. No need for any effort or exertion. No need for anything but to relax right here, right now. Just listening to the sound of my voice, allowing this moment to be very peaceful and safe. As you allow your cheeks to feel the pull of gravity and your eyelids to become light and smooth, even letting your eyeballs just rest and float. No pressure, no effort. Very good. Now just becoming very present here in this room, allowing your awareness to expand and extend, seeing if you can notice the air moving by the fans above you, and hearing the ocean as it gently rolls onto the seashore, if you can hear that. And just being aware that there's people in this room here, and just allowing your mind to expand outwards, just remembering the weather outside. And maybe noticing the darkness of the sky. And just remembering the temperature. Now coming back very much to the here and now, and just putting your attention down on your breath as it moves gently in and out of your body, calm and relaxed. So right now I'd like to paint a picture in your mind. Just allow your childlike imagination to fill in the details. Right now, I'd like you to imagine you're standing in a room. It's dark, but it's peaceful and calm. You notice on the far side of the room a blue door. And you walk over to this blue door, and you notice as you get closer, the blue door says, peace. And I want you to open up that blue door and find yourself at the top of some steps. And as I count down, I'd like you to see yourself stepping down these steps, knowing that each step can take you a little further within inside yourself to that place inside that's very private and quiet. 10, 9, 8, stepping down to 7, 6, further down to 5, 4, 3, 2, settling down now to 1, just shifting down inside to 0. And find yourself once again in another dark room. You're inside this dark room and it's very peaceful and quiet. And over on the far side of the room, you notice a red door. Walk over to that red door in your mind. And this door, it says, forgiveness. Open up that red door and find yourself at the top of 10 steps, settling down with each step, each number I count, seeing yourself stepping down from 10 to 9, further down to 8, 7, settling down now, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, shifting down now to 0, just letting go, nothing to protect, feeling so safe and calm. As you step out into this room, and right now you notice that this room is filled with the most wonderful, brilliant white light. It's a simple room filled with a bright, peaceful light. And as you step out into this room, you hear the sound of a voice. And this is what the voice says: I am peace. I am peace. I am peace. We are peace. We are at peace. We are at peace. I am at peace. I am at peace. I am at peace. And you allow these feelings, this calm, peaceful feeling, to fill your entire mind as you forgive and release all judgment and fear. All judgment and fear, just imagine it washing away, being released in a big wave of energy, just disappearing as if the sun is shining fog away on the beautiful ocean, just leaving the sparkling sea left to dazzle and shine its brilliant sunlight in a million different directions, sparkling and fresh, and so very, very beautiful, as you allow yourself to receive the peace and guidance of this channeling at the deepest level, mind, spirit, and body, releasing all tension, listening deeply with your heart and with your love. Thank you.
Awun, de Boshmaya, Nita Kadash Shema, Tete Malkuda, Neve Asivinach, Akina de Boshmaya O Baraha, Haulan Lachman, Zunkanan Yauman, Boshwoklan Halpin, Akina Dapanan, Shwakin Nil Hayabin. Ula talan el mission, el passam membisha. Met al de lachim el kuta, uhaila, utish bhakta. La alam, amin, amen.
Abunde boshmaya. Nita Kedash Shama Tete makuta. The way to Savianic, I Canada, Boschmaya of Baraha. How long Lachmad is you can in Yamana? Wash Walkland Habane, I Canada Banan. Schwachen el Hayabain, Ula Talan. Destiona ella person min bisha metal de la kimakuta uhaila utishbokta la alam. Amen. Amen.
Wow. Cool. He's really serious about this pathway that it's building. You know, he's restoring our infinite consciousness to its original state. And just like if you're building a house, it's important to have a good foundation before you do the walls. You can't be, you know, it's no good to have all the roofing materials there when there's nothing to put the roof on. I know some people pick up this pathway and they want to move right to the way of knowing, which is the last 12 lessons, and think that they're going to get it in the last 12. You know, that's like, you know, trying to go out and put the roof on the house first. Just doesn't really work that way. But this is the simplest of practices. It's deceiving in that you're going to find it more difficult than you would imagine. When I first started, I had trouble focusing, I had trouble being aware, I had trouble knowing what it was thoughts I even wanted, how to listen to spirit, how to shut my mind up so I could even do this, blah, 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 blah. But when you get the hang of it, you'll have so much fun doing it that you won't stop at the end of the 5 minutes. You'll just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it because you'll recognize how good it feels compared to what your unconscious habituated thinking patterns always are. And it just picks up so much speed. Really cool. After this channeling, there was a question from the audience which he answered. And the question was, is it necessary, Jeshua, to go to the other aspects of ourselves and ask forgiveness for errors that we feel we have made? How many of us have kind of pondered this thing? You've probably heard me talk about the futility of forgiveness and that. Well, he's going to address it. But Cindy's going to read it since we don't have it on audio.
This is a very, very good question. I am glad you have asked it. In fact, I want to make a suggestion to you that you transcribe that question and the answer that I am to give you, and send it to this my beloved brother and his mate, and mention to them that I have suggested that it would be most appropriate to include this question and answer in their next communication with their friends. Now, is it necessary to go to those aspects of ourselves and ask forgiveness, those voices within the mind? Is it necessary to go to them in order to bring about some form of healing? Now listen very carefully. There is, in truth, nothing which is necessary in itself. There's not something etched in stone that must be achieved in order for healing to occur, except complete and unconditional self-acceptance. The way in which each mind arrives at that goal will be unique and somewhat different. And why is this so? Because each mind uses its freedom of power, its freedom of consciousness, to create a spiral that took it seemingly away from its deep sense of perfect union with God. If you could imagine many strands of thread suddenly unraveling from a central ball of thread, and they all seem to go off in their own way and their own direction, that would be like the many minds which have split apart from the one mind of the Son of God. And therefore they find themselves seemingly at the end of that thread, somewhere out there in the vast space of mind, wanting to come home. And then they begin to create their pathway back to God. As the mind does that, it is actually using the very thing which is the kingdom of heaven, which is your union with God. You are using the power of consciousness to create perceptions of yourself and all that you see around you to make the journey home. An idea comes into the mind and you move in that direction, and it seems to work for a while. And then you have to go to a different idea, a deeper idea. Everyone is doing that. And so they are literally creating their pathway home, not quite recognizing that what they are seeking is the very power to create with which they are creating their pathway home. So at any time there can be the miracle of miracles, a quantum leap that transcends time, because the mind can suddenly understand and get all that it needs to do. And understand is to accept itself, and it is already home. Generally, there are glimmers of that, and so there are little quantum leaps, little accelerations in which old ideas and perceptions are discarded as self-acceptance deepens. Again, for you as well as for many, there seems to be stages at which accessing the different voices that you have made in your attempt to fragment yourself from God can then be perfectly appropriate, perfectly empowering, and even, it will seem to appear, necessary from where you are as you come up that strand of thread on your way back to perfect union. So for each mind then, it is necessary to go within and be truly honest. What am I feeling? I keep sensing that I haven't forgiven myself for this thing or that thing. I feel this voice keeps calling to me that says, "You're not good enough. You're not good enough." If those voices keep calling, something keeps calling for your attention, then that can be best accepted as your way home. It may be different from someone else, but that's irrelevant, since comparison and contrast is a tendency of the egoic mind and not the mind of Christ. Merely observe what is occurring to you, and then allow yourself to take whatever action is necessary to help bring about that healing that keeps calling to you. Ultimately, all healing is the healing of the perception of illusions. So yes, the voice that is calling you is an illusion, a chimera. It's an echo of an old something that never really happened. But within the dream of separation itself, it is rather senseless to be in denial about it. Therefore, beloved friend, for you we would say yes, because these voices call you, and because you have a feeling, even in your body, that you haven't totally come to self-forgiveness. Then, by turning your attention, playfully and innocently, and listening to those voices that are echoing to you, the very places within yourself to which you have not extended forgiveness, this will bring those voices to the surface. Then have a dialogue with them as if they were a separate entity. And then learn to wrap your arms of forgiveness around those parts. This is an important aspect of your unique pathway home to the ball of thread sitting in the middle of the heart of God. This is true for everyone. There cannot be denial. There cannot be comparison, analysis, judgment. There can only be acceptance, allowance, embracing, trusting, feeling, until that one mind finds its way to bring the ship into the harbor. No one can do it for you. However, you can have many friends, such as me, who will assist you in the way that you have chosen. Does all that make sense for you? Response. I will send it to John Mark and Anastasia. Jeshua. Indeed, I would appreciate this, as it serves in the bigger picture of the thread that is being interwoven now between many who have been called and many who will be called to join in this adventure which is called the energy of the Shanti Cristo. Think of it this way. As the one mind fragmented into many points of light, in one corner of the universe there were a few 100,000 points of light that said, well, we spun out together, we might as well spin back together. Response. That's precious. I've wanted to ask you that question for a long time. Jeshua. Yes, I know. Did you know that the question that seems to be resisted in the mind is exactly the doorway being presented by the soul to the conscious mind, through which one takes its next leap up the thread back to the heart of God? That is why the questions that come up from the depth of the mind are of utmost importance. And you can train the mind to observe the question itself and go, this is a doorway coming open for me. I wonder what it is that is within the question. What does the question that is coming up from the depth of my being reveal to me? What does it conceal from me? What energy is beginning to shift in me now? The question always reflects what's coming up from the depth of the mind itself, to be learned, to be integrated, to be transcended. There. Now you have something to consider from time to time.
Thank you, Cindy. It's a beautiful answer, and it's very deep. He answers the young lady who answered this question, asked it. He answers her specifically, but also he answers anyone else that might ever ask that question, because he answers it in its totality. And that's that your experience is your experience, your pathway is your pathway. You're even creating your seeming journey back to the place we've never left. You know, my pathway with him was very short, very quick, quantum kind of things, because I asked, what's the quickest way home? And he said, to recognize that you've never left. Start there with the truth that's always true, and that's a very easy discernment against everything else. Anyway, it's just absolutely beautiful, and thanks for reading it, honey. Next week, we will begin our deepening of lesson number 9. All events are neutral, and then we're going to have some really good stuff. As I was laying there listening to channeling, it was already dropping in some of the deepening that's going to happen in that lesson. So, any questions or comments tonight? I wouldn't think so. Don't feel them out there. If you want to quicken your journey of remembrance and you want to sit with me, because I won't believe anything about you other than what's infinitely and limitlessly true, if you need to come look in that mirror sometimes because you're having a little inner doubt, please come. It's a lot of fun. If you're interested in One Who Wakes and myself coming and doing a plurk shop in your area, we got an inquiry today from Orlando, so we may be down there in early February. Love offering. This is all that this family does to extend the truth that we all are. I mean, it's a really cool gig. And that's really all you want to do when you wake up to the truth of our being, is help everyone else that's ready come to that realization. You don't need to run grab people off the street and tell them they're a damn sinner and they're going to hell or else. They're creating their own experience of fear in that anyway. But those who are ready, they'll come to you. They'll be sent to you, and you can welcome them and welcome them back. He made an inference in the answer to that question about the Christ lineage. He talks about that a lot later in this pathway, that group of souls that kind of spun off together to play and is kind of making their way back together. He calls it the Christ lineage. And Shanti Cristo, for what it's worth, means Christ's peace, the peace of Christ. Anyway, love offering. We would appreciate if you're here, make a donation on the other side of the fireplace. If you're watching online, you can go to onewhowakes.org. In the upper right-hand corner is a little give button. this pathway is just miraculous. I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful. And those of us who chose that this would be our primary means of remembrance, the Course in Miracles or the Way of Mastery, it's just a joy to share it with each other. He comes every time we do this work and we gather. Some of you were talking about how you can just feel a difference here. Well, love lives here. We love you with an absolutely infinite love and a perfect, perfect peace. Blessings and a joyful good night to you.